This is not just an ordinary video. This is a video that could save your future. Because what you're about to hear isn't the obvious. These are not the habits you've seen repeated over and over again on every self-help channel. No. These are silent habits, the ones that quietly creep into your life, slowly destroying your potential, day after day, while you're caught up in the whirlwind of life, completely unaware. They don't scream. They whisper. They don't come with clear warnings. They hide behind comfort, daily routines, and the excuses you keep telling yourself. And then, before you even realize it, they've stolen your time, your energy, and the dreams you once had. If you're watching this video, it means that something inside you is starting to wake up. Maybe it's a desire to grow. Maybe it's the frustration with being stuck. Or maybe it's that inner voice you've been ignoring for too long, the one whispering, "It's time to change." And if that's the case, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Kunzy Podcast English, where we don't speak in cliches, we don't copy others, and we're not here to please you with easy words. We speak the truth. We dig deep. We help you break your limits, overcome what once felt impossible, and rise into a stronger version of yourself. Because this isn't just about eliminating bad habits. This is about escaping the old life to build the one you truly deserve. Overthinking, the silent killer of dreams. Have you ever found yourself lying in bed at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, your mind racing with 1,000 thoughts? You think about all the things you should do, want to do, wish you had done, but in the end, you do nothing. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. You're living in a world where countless people are trapped in an invisible prison, a cage called overthinking. Overthinking isn't a sign of intelligence or caution. It doesn't make you stronger or smarter. On the contrary, it's like a slow-acting poison, quietly eroding your confidence, your belief, and your ability to act, bit by bit. The danger lies in how painless it seems. It doesn't hurt right away, but it kills you over time. A soft, silent death, soaked in regret. Imagine a guy named Min. He dreams of starting a YouTube channel. He has ideas, he's written scripts, even made a content plan. But when the moment comes to record his first video, the voices in his head begin to whisper. What if people judge me? What if nobody watches? Am I good enough? Do I look weird? What if I fail? And so he walks away. Not because he's lazy or incapable, but because he let his thoughts win. A day passes, then a week, then a month, a year. Min still hasn't uploaded a single video. He starts believing he's not good enough, not brave enough, not made for it. But the truth is, he never gave himself a chance to try. That's the cruel effect of overthinking. It makes you give up before you even start. Overthinking doesn't just delay action, it rewires how you see yourself. It's not deep reflection. It's playing the worst-case scenario in your mind on repeat until you're paralyzed. You begin to doubt yourself, question your worth, and eventually you lose belief in your ability to change your life. That's why so many people with huge potential and big dreams end up living small, unfulfilled lives because they're locked inside a prison built by their own thoughts. The tricky part is overthinking can fool you. It feels productive, like you're preparing, planning, being cautious. But in truth, you're just standing still. Without action, every plan is meaningless. Without the first step, no path ever opens. You can think for a month, a year, even a decade. But if you don't do, nothing changes. No dream has ever come true by thinking alone. Success doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from doing it scared. Successful people aren't free from worry. They take action despite the fear. They publish the video even if it might be mocked. They start the business even if it might lose money. They walk into the unknown even when no one guarantees success. They accept being imperfect, accept rejection, accept failure, and through that, they grow stronger. Overthinkers, on the other hand, stay frozen, replaying imaginary disasters until those disasters become reality, not because they happened, but because they never moved. The solution isn't to stop thinking. You can't shut off your brain, but you can change how you respond to those thoughts. Every time you feel caught in that spiral of negative thinking, remind yourself, one small action is worth more than 100 rounds of overthinking. Just take one small step. Write a few lines of your script, record 30 seconds, send that message, read one page. Action breaks the cycle, because when you act, you get results. Whether you succeed or fail, you learn something. And clarity comes from doing, not thinking. Clarity doesn't live in your mind. It lives on the road you walk. Every action you take is not just progress. It's reclaiming ownership of your life. It's you saying to yourself, I'm no longer controlled by fear and doubt. I'm the one in charge. And if you keep moving forward like that, you'll be surprised at how fast your life begins to transform. Don't wait until you're 100% ready. That day will never come. Readiness comes after you begin, not before. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start right now. And when you do, that is the moment you begin to break the chains of overthinking. Don't let this silent habit keep stealing your future. Don't let another year pass while you're stuck in the same place. The future you dream of isn't inside your thoughts. It's waiting for you on the other side of your first action. And that action begins now. Procrastination, the quiet thief of time. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year. Before you know it, the dreams you once held so tightly have quietly slipped through your fingers. You didn't abandon them all at once. You just postponed them one small excuse at a time. That's the lie procrastination tells you, that you have more time, that you'll feel ready soon, that inspiration will strike when the moment is right. But it never does. Because procrastination doesn't just delay your life, it steals it. Think of Leo. He had a dream of writing a book, a story he believed could change lives. He talked about it often, jotted ideas in his phone, even picked a title. But each time he sat down to start, something else got in the way. I'm too tired today. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week when work is less stressful. Maybe when I feel more inspired. The pages remained blank. One morning, Leo received a phone call that shattered his world. His mother had passed away suddenly. No warning, no goodbye. She was the person who always told him, "You were born to write." That night, he sat alone with his thoughts, whispering the words, "I thought I had more time." But time had moved on without waiting for him to be ready. That's the brutal truth about procrastination. It's a silent killer. It doesn't scream. It doesn't warn you. It simply watches you waste your days, then hands you regret. You wake up one day and realize that the life you wanted, the person you could have become, the things you were meant to do, all of them were lost. Not because you weren't capable, but because you kept waiting for the perfect moment. And it never came. We often think that procrastination is about laziness, but it's deeper than that. It's fear of not being good enough, fear of failing, fear of what happens if we actually succeed and have to live up to it. So we hide behind excuses like I'm not in the mood, or I'll start when I'm ready, or now's just not the right time. But here's the reality. The right time is a myth. If you're waiting to feel ready, you'll wait forever. The only way to become ready is to begin. Don't chase inspiration, create it. Don't wait for motivation, build momentum. Start even when it's hard. Start when you're tired. Start when you're afraid. Because starting is a statement. It says, I choose to show up for myself. I choose not to waste another day. You owe it to your future self, the version of you who will either thank you for your discipline or curse you for your delay. You owe it to the people you could impact, to the life you're capable of living. That book you haven't written, someone needs to read it. That business you keep postponing, someone needs what you're about to create. That health you've been neglecting, your future kids, your family, they need you strong and well. Your excuses may feel valid in the moment, but they're building a prison brick by brick, a life where you're always behind, always anxious, always wondering what could have been. The solution is simple but powerful. Act with responsibility, not emotion. Don't ask, do I feel like doing this today? Ask, what does my future self need me to do today? That shift changes everything. Because emotions are fleeting, but consequences are not. When you act out of responsibility, you build a foundation. You become consistent, and from consistency comes confidence. From confidence comes transformation. So the next time you feel the urge to delay, stop and ask yourself, if not now, when? And be honest, because later is the most dangerous word in your vocabulary. Don't live your life in rehearsal mode, waiting for the stars to align. This is it. This moment, this breath, this day, that's all you truly have, and it's more than enough to start. Mobile addiction. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet even touch the ground, your hand reaches for your phone. Just a minute to check messages. 5 more for Instagram. 10 for YouTube. Before you know it, half an hour is gone, and your day hasn't even begun. You whisper to yourself, just a little bit, not realizing that a little bit is slowly eating away the best years of your life. Mobile addiction doesn't scream. It doesn't crash into your life. It seeps in quietly, wrapping around your focus like fog, clouding your purpose and stealing your future in silence. It replaces presence with distraction. It replaces real life with a curated fantasy designed not to inspire you, but to trap you. Every scroll, every like, every notification is engineered to hijack your attention, and worse, your potential. Take Emma, for example. She dreamed of becoming a fashion designer. She had the drive, the ideas, the sketchbooks ready. She even enrolled in online classes. But every time she sat down to learn, she found herself just checking Instagram for a moment, and then YouTube, TikTok, another notification. One video became 5, 5 became 50. 6 months passed. The sketchbook gathered dust. The online class expired. Her dream, still alive, but buried beneath an endless feed of distraction. The phone is not your enemy. It's a tool. But when the tool begins to control the user, something is broken. If you're spending 3, 5, or even 8 hours a day glued to a screen and telling yourself you have no time to chase your dreams, you're not lazy, you're trapped. You're addicted to a stream of empty stimulation that drains your energy, your time, and your soul. Mobile addiction is dopamine addiction. Each scroll gives your brain a hit of dopamine, the pleasure hormone. It feels good in the moment, but the side effects are devastating. Reduced focus, poor short-term memory, irritability, and an inability to sit still with your thoughts. You can't read a full page without checking your phone. You can't concentrate for more than 5 minutes. Everything has to be fast, exciting, easy. And then you wonder, why can't I change my life? The answer isn't to throw your phone away. It's to take control. Set screen time limits. Use website blockers during deep work hours. Leave your phone in another room when you need to focus. Replace your morning scroll with a daily plan. Replace your nighttime scroll with a book and reflection. Train your brain to enjoy depth again. Deep work, deep thought, deep connection. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be conscious. Every minute you resist the urge is a minute you take back control. Remember, you are not a victim of your phone. You are the author of your future, and that future begins the moment you choose to put the phone down and live. Watching porn. There's a habit most people never talk about, yet it silently chokes ambition, distorts the mind, and destroys lives watching porn. Society often labels it as harmless, normal, or just entertainment. But the truth is, it's a mental toxin, a synthetic pleasure that poisons your drive, kills your self-worth, and hijacks your emotional compass. At first, it's curiosity. One click, one video, one night of stress relief. But then it becomes routine. Once a week, then every day, then multiple times a day. And when you try to go without it, you feel restless, anxious, empty. That's the first sign you're no longer in control. Porn hijacks your brain's dopamine system. It floods your mind with instant pleasure. But the more you consume, the more your brain becomes numb to real-life joys. Learning something new, connecting with people, building something meaningful. Slowly, your motivation fades. Things that once inspired you now feel dull. A good book, a deep conversation, a bold dream, they can't compete with the flood of artificial stimulation. The consequences? You lose momentum. You stop chasing your goals. Days become a cycle of numbness. Watch, regret, promise to quit, relapse. Confidence shatters. You isolate yourself. You feel shame, yet can't stop. And worst of all, you begin to believe the lie. This is who I am now. Take Aiden, for example. Once a kid full of dreams, he wanted to design video games, drew characters, wrote stories, stayed up late imagining the worlds he'd create. But during his teenage years, he stumbled upon porn, just out of curiosity, then again and again. Before long, his creative energy vanished. His nights were consumed by artificial dopamine. His desire to create was replaced by the need to escape. He became withdrawn, lost self-confidence, and eventually sank into depression. His dream of becoming a game designer? Still alive, but buried beneath silence and shame. What's tragic is that millions of young people are like Aiden, but they suffer in silence. Because society mocks the issue. Because admitting it feels dirty, weak. But here's the truth. This isn't your fault. It's the trap of the digital age. A world where porn is free, accessible, and engineered to addict. You don't overcome this with just strong willpower. You overcome it by building a new life. You must replace synthetic dopamine with natural dopamine, from movement, creativity, real conversations, building something meaningful. Start exercising every morning. Delete apps that tempt you. Replace the screen with a journal, a book, a goal. Talk to real people. Reconnect with real feelings. And most importantly, forgive yourself. You are not broken. You are not dirty. You are not hopeless. You're a person who got lost for a while, and now you've decided to come back. The first step isn't being perfect. It's being honest. It's daring to rise, even if your knees shake. It's showing up, even if you failed before. Because you deserve freedom. You deserve to feel alive again. You deserve a life built on truth, passion, and purpose. Your dream is waiting for you, not behind a screen, but out there in the real world. All you have to do is return to it. There's a voice you hear every day. It doesn't come from anyone else. It doesn't come from a speaker. It comes from within your own head. It shows up whenever you make a mistake, whenever you feel weak, whenever you fall short. That voice says, "You're so stupid. Nobody will ever love you. You'll never be good enough." At first, you just listen, but then you repeat, and slowly you start to believe. You believe you're not smart enough. You believe you don't deserve more. You believe your life will never get better. That's the dangerous habit called negative self-talk, a kind of mental self-hypnosis where you repeat the harshest things, not to others, but to yourself. No one ever teaches you how to love yourself, but so many people made you believe you weren't enough. Maybe when you were a child, you were told, "You're useless. Don't be so naive," or "Why can't you be more like them?" And you remembered. Then you started repeating those words, not to the world, but within your own mind. Here's what's terrifying. If you hear something often enough, your brain starts accepting it as truth. And from there, you live in a world limited by the very words you whisper to yourself every single day. A world where you doubt yourself, reject opportunities, and shrink your dreams. Not because you can't, but because you believe you shouldn't. Take Jason, for example, a boy who once failed a math test in 6th grade. His teacher handed back his paper and said coldly, "You're just not good at math." Jason didn't argue. He didn't cry. He just listened. But those words rooted themselves deep inside him. From that day forward, math became something he wasn't good at. He stopped raising his hand, avoided advanced classes, didn't apply to tech programs even though he loved computers. For the next 20 years, that voice stayed in his head. "Don't try, you're bad at this." One sentence, one moment, one label, and it followed him, silently destroying what he could have become. The truth is, we all carry labels like that. I'm not attractive, I'm not smart, I'm not enough. I don't deserve love. And the most painful part? Those labels aren't constantly repeated by others. They're echoed by us, over and over, until they become our identity. But here's the thing. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, are these things I say in my head actually true? Most of the time, they're not. They're echoes of old wounds. They're shadows from moments when you were most fragile. And if you're brave enough to listen closely, you'll realize many of the thoughts in your head are neither kind, nor fair, nor based in reality. So, what do you do to break free? First, recognize it. Every time you catch yourself thinking something negative, pause. Write it down, literally. Write the sentence, "I'll never be successful." Then ask yourself, would I ever say this to someone I love? Or more directly, would I say this to my best friend? The answer is almost always no. And if you'd never say it to someone you love, then why are you saying it to yourself? Next, replace it. Not with fake affirmations like "I'm amazing" or "I'm perfect," but with truthful, grounded kindness. Instead of saying "I'll never succeed," say "I haven't succeeded yet, but I'm learning, I'm growing, and I have the power to change that." That's not sugarcoating, it's honest encouragement. It's power rooted in truth. You need to start speaking to yourself like you would to your best friend. When they fail, you comfort them. When they're afraid, you support them. When they're sad, you stay beside them. So why not do that for yourself? Because the way you speak to yourself programs your entire life. If you constantly say, "I can't," you won't try. If you always say, "I'm stupid," you'll stop learning. If you keep repeating, "I'm worthless," you'll never leave your comfort zone. But if you plant kind, truthful thoughts in your mind, Amazing things happen, not overnight, but slowly. One thought, one new voice, one new belief. And you'll start to see you don't need to be perfect to be worthy. You don't need to be the best to deserve love. You just need to begin by making peace with yourself. Remember, you are not the negative voice in your head. You are not your past mistakes. You are a person becoming, and you deserve love and kindness, especially from the person who talks to you the most, you. Comparison. In the digital age, it's not bombs, pandemics, or poverty that are quietly destroying us. It's something invisible yet deeply damaging. Comparison. We don't just compare ourselves to friends or colleagues anymore. Now we compare our entire lives to carefully curated highlight reels of strangers on social media. With every swipe, every scroll, we're bombarded with images of success, beauty, happiness, luxury, none of which show the real story behind them. You wake up in the morning, and before even brushing your teeth, you scroll through Instagram. You see someone your age with a chiseled body, fresh from the gym. Another just got a scholarship abroad. Someone else bought their first house. Another friend is traveling in Paris. You suddenly feel behind, small, unworthy. You worked hard yesterday, you're doing your best, but in an instant, it feels like it's not enough. You start to question your worth. You wonder why you haven't achieved what they have. Even though you're not failing, it starts to feel like you are, just because someone else is living differently. Comparison doesn't just make us sad. It robs us of peace, gratitude, and purpose. It steals our focus from our journey and throws us into a race that we were never meant to run. The more we look at others, the less we see ourselves. We forget our own dreams, our values, our pace. We feel lost, not because we've gone the wrong way, but because we stopped looking forward and started looking sideways. Picture this. You're a sunflower. You've been growing strong, turning toward the sun, blooming brightly. You feel proud and happy until you spot a giant oak tree far away. It's taller, sturdier, and older. Suddenly you feel small, insecure, jealous. You forget your own beauty. You forget that you're a sunflower, not an oak. You're not meant to be tall and heavy. You're meant to shine. If you try to become the oak, you'll wither. But if you stay true to who you are, you'll radiate light. The truth is, every person has their own timeline. Some people find success at 18, others bloom at 50. Some get married early, travel the world, or build businesses before 30. Others spend their 20s healing, growing, rebuilding from pain. There's no late, no early, only different. Life isn't a race, it's a journey, and you are not behind. You're on your path. So how do we stop comparing? First, become aware of it. Notice the moment you feel envious, insecure, or not good enough after seeing someone else's post. Pause, breathe. Ask yourself, am I comparing my whole life to a highlight reel? If the answer is yes, remind yourself, this isn't the full picture. It's just the part they want the world to see. Next, shift your focus inward. Write down what you're proud of, your progress, your resilience, your growth. Compare yourself not to others, but to your past self. Remember how far you've come. Practice gratitude. Appreciate what you have, your health, your effort, your freedom to learn and grow. Gratitude kills comparison. Another powerful tool? Curate your feed. Unfollow accounts that make you feel small. Follow those who inspire you in an authentic way. People who share real stories, not just wins, but also struggles. Spend less time online and more time in real life. Read, learn, move your body, talk to real people. Build your life offline so you won't need validation online. And finally, remember this truth. Happiness doesn't come from being better than others. It comes from being the best version of yourself. This life is not a competition. It's a journey made for your soul. You're not meant to run faster than someone else. You're meant to walk your path at your pace with your purpose. If today you're feeling like you're not enough, just because someone else seems ahead, breathe. Forgive yourself. Don't beat yourself up for comparing. It's human. But now, you get to choose a different story. One where you live from within, not from someone else's timeline. Peace doesn't come from winning other people's applause. It comes from looking in the mirror and saying, I'm living my truth, and I'm proud of it. You don't need to be anyone else. You just need to be brave enough to be yourself. If this message touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. You never know. Your small action might be the reminder someone desperately needs. And don't forget to subscribe to Kunzy Podcast English for more soul-nourishing stories, practical life lessons, and personal growth journeys. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to evolve. And you, just as you are a vital part of that journey.